Are you interested in learning how to buy a house but have basically no money for down payment? Well, that's exactly what I'm going to walk you through today. A real life story of how I helped a client in a very similar situation get into a new home with very little money out of their pocket. Thank you for checking out my YouTube channel. My name's Brady Duchek, Realtor, Century 21, Morrison Realty, servicing the Bismarck, Mandan, Dickinson, North Dakota area. If you're looking to move to or from North Dakota, be sure to give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. My contact info is in the description below. For now, let's get back to the video. Set the stage a little bit for the scenario. We're in North Dakota. I end up connecting with a couple who they're renting. They don't trust their landlord. They don't like their place that they're renting. They don't feel safe in it. Life is changing. They need something new. And frankly, they were on the, I don't want to say on the verge of being evicted, but there was definitely a real fear, a real possibility that they were going to lose their apartment and they would not have a place to go. So we got connected, and step number one is we sat down and we had an initial buyer consultation. So we talked through a bunch of things. I gave them a copy of my buyer's guide, which I'll link in the description below so you guys can have it too. And then we just kind of walked through that, and it really helped put them at ease to better understand the buying process since they had never bought before. I was able to answer their questions. They were able to go through, kind of see the roadmap of exactly what it's going to look like, and we were able to get a better feel of what the timeline might be before they could get into the new place. So, sent them some lenders that I thought might be a good fit for them, and so that's what they went and did. Is they went and met with a lender, and that really kind of helped set us up in the right direction so that we knew exactly what their monthly budget was, exactly what price range we needed to be shopping in, and exactly what I needed to negotiate when we did find a place as far as seller paid closing costs to minimize the amount of money that they needed out of pocket in order to get into their new home. And I can't stress enough how important it is to connect with a good lender who's knowledgeable, has the resources, knows about the different programs. Cannot stress enough how important working with a good lender is. So now, after they met with the lender, we knew price range, monthly payment, negotiations that needed to happen, all of those things. It was time to actually go out and search for a new place. So this is where it actually kind of gets fun for you as a potential home buyer, is starting to look at properties, right? So we did the initial meeting, they met with the lender, then we met back up and we took the shotgun approach, where because of the price range that they were in and what they were looking for, our options were already pretty limited. So we just took the shotgun approach and said, hey, these are all of our options. And from there, we kind of narrowed it down into a handful that made sense for them that they wanted to go look at on the first run. And so that's what we did, is we ended up going to look at a couple properties. Quick funny side note with this particular instance is it's North Dakota, cold, one of the coldest winters to date. We're below zero, sub 20 temperatures for a week plus, not including the wind chill. So it was freaking cold. There's a lot of snow. Not the ideal house hunting situation, not exactly what you dream up when you're ready to go house hunting. And we got to a place and it was so cold, that lockbox would not open. I called the listing agent, we tried to troubleshoot, and we just simply could not get in because it was frozen. Eventually we did get in, and eventually that is actually the place that they ended up writing an offer on. We negotiated through a snowstorm where we were all at home. Lots of phone calls, lots of texts, emails, all the things, very remote, despite all being in the same city. Did negotiate, got that under contract, everything looked good. Sent the purchase agreement over to the lender. The lender called me and he needed some more information because it was a condo, which condos usually aren't an issue, but in this particular instance, for the programs that they were going to use and this particular condo, how it was set up, they didn't jive. Really no way to know that ahead of time until we got it over to the lender and we asked some more questions and did a little bit more digging. It just wasn't going to work. Within 48 hours of us getting a contract negotiated, getting the place, getting a deal together, we had to fail it because financing wasn't going to work out. So we looked at the properties that they felt would be a good fit. Outside of that one that ended up not working out, there wasn't anything else that was really screaming at them. So we decided to branch out a little bit, go a little bit more rural, up to half an hour away from the Bismarck ND area. Looked at some of those properties. They didn't love anything with that either. So then we went back to the list because the inventory is pretty low. There wasn't a lot of new stuff coming to the market, and we found one that they passed on early, but I encouraged them, like, hey, let's go check this one out, might be a good fit. And so we did, and they loved it, and we negotiated a good deal for them where they were able to, and it was another condo, so we did extra homework before we even wrote the offer on this one, just to make sure it was going to work because they didn't want to go through that again. We were able to negotiate the closing costs that they needed to be covered from the sellers, and then obviously contingent on inspection, appraisal, all those different things that is in my buyer guide, which is again down below. Consistently, diligently work through the contingencies. You have deadlines, super important to make sure you meet those. How much money did they have to bring to the table? Less than $1,500 to get into a nice updated condo, look good, met their needs, similar to an apartment feel, but the difference was rent wasn't going up anymore because it was a mortgage payment. They were locked in. It was going to be the same month to month, year after year, and each of those mortgage payments, part of it was going towards paying down the principal, which is building up their equity. And as home prices continue to appreciate here in Bismarck ND, when the time comes that they want to get out of the condo and get into something different yet again, they're going to be able to use that equity that they've been building over the last couple of years and turn around and use that for their next down payment. Again, $1,500 out of pocket, basically the same mortgage payment per month now compared to what they were when they were renting. But the big difference is now it is locked in. Landlord's not going to be able to increase it because they own the home. They're not paying somebody else's rent, they're paying their own mortgage. So what programs were they using? So they used North Dakota Housing, which I'll link in the description as well, so you guys can go check out some more of the details on how you can qualify for that. Fantastic program, offer down payment assistance, just really buyer friendly in terms of trying to help that first time home buyer get out of the rental situation and into their first home, even if they don't have a bunch of money in their bank account to use towards a down payment, to use towards those closing costs. So between negotiating seller pay closing costs to help cover your title fees, your loan origination fee from your lender, those types of things, plus the down payment assistance to actually help get that 3% down or whatever it is depending on your loan program. Extremely beneficial, cannot recommend it enough. If you're in a situation like this, give me a call. I can connect you with a couple different lenders who I think do a really good job of helping walk potential buyers through this process, help educate them so that they fully understand what's going on, and then I can obviously help you go through the entire process of buying that home, doing the house hunting, working through the negotiations, working through the contingencies, getting to the closing table, scheduling the move-in date, and helping you get into a place to call home, and that is yours, where you can build equity and then turn around and use that equity to get into the next home. I cannot stress enough, buying as early as makes sense for you, still today, the best way to build wealth. So the sooner you can buy, as long as it makes sense financially, it's still the best option. Just a couple more key points here. I want you to be fully educated on the entire process, exactly what that's going to look like for you if you do decide to buy your first place. Ask you the questions, figure out what's in your best interest, because sometimes renting is a better option than buying. I'm not going to pressure you into buy if it doesn't make sense for you in your life. It's just, I rented for a long time before I purchased, my wife and I purchased our first home, because it made more sense for us with where we were at. So with that, if you are looking to buy, if you're in a similar situation where you're renting, you want out, you don't feel like you have enough money, don't have enough money for that down payment to cover your closing costs, those types of things, give me a call, shoot me a text, send me an email. All that's in the description below. I'd be happy to sit down with you, that initial conversation to walk through your exact situation and see if it makes sense. See if it makes sense for us to work together. Potentially get you connected with a lender, and the only way that you're gonna know if you can actually buy a place or not is to have the conversation. Because honestly, what do you have to lose?